Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Ashtaprayechu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Momagnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथामितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणासिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Abhiram Prabhu. Today is like double mercy today. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm getting
Hare
double mercy today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So we had stopped at 22 verse 8. So we're in Canto 1, chapter 8, prayers of Queen Kunti. We had finished the beautiful verse Nama Pankajanabhaya, Nama Pankajamaline, Nama Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. How Queen Kunti is describing the form of the Lord, beautiful form of the Lord, comparing every part of his body to lotus. And I said last week, saying that this comparison with lotus is just because there is no other object that can be used to compare with Krishna's beauty, because Krishna's beauty is inconceivable. Actually, it is described that his body is soft like butter. His body is soft like butter, and he can kill all these asuras. He is doing wrestling with Chanu, Ramasti, Mustika, and all that. So it's inconceivable how. And eventually, we have to come to understand and glorify Krishna's beauty. In fact, the beauty of Krishna and gopis, it's so many things that are spoken in their glory. So Krishna's color is like blue sapphire or blue lotus, blue sapphire. And the beauty of the gopis excels molten gold, golden champaka flower. Go and search online. I mean, of course, molten gold. Most Matajis will have idea of how gold will look. Molten gold and golden champaka flower. That is their beauty. And what gopis do. So just imagine. So this is blue and this is golden. And what gopis do is they keep a blue lotus flower on their ears. So just imagine what will be the beauty of gopis, gold and blue, right? And that is why when Krishna and gopis come together, when they're together, beauty excels, beauty of the three worlds. So this beauty, we have to come to appreciate the beauty of Krishna's transcendental body. It's not material. So, for this verse, Kunti Maharani is very reverentially describing, comparing him to a lotus. Okay, we'll move to verse 23. Okay. Yatha Rishikesha Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Vicharpita Vimochitaham Sasahatmaja Vibho Tvayaiva Nathena Mur Vipadganat. O Rishikesha, master of the senses and lord of lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers. So here, in one sense, Devaki is comparing her distress, and then Kunti Maharani is comparing her distress and the distress faced by Devaki. So Prabhupada writes, Devaki had very limited suffering, right? Because it was only during that period when, after the prophecy till eighth child, and then they were released at least. And Prabhupada says here, because and Krishna did not save any of her previous children, but for Kunti, Krishna was there throughout. And he saved her children from all kinds of calamities. So why this difference? Why Devaki's children were not protected, by Kunti's children were protected? So here, Prabhupada is saying this was done because Devaki's husband Vasudeva was living, whereas Kunti Devi was a widow, and there was no one to help her except Krishna. So conclusion is that Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in greater dangers. And sometimes this is one. Krishna endows more favor to a devotee who is in greater dangers. Greater dangers means that we are less qualified to protect ourselves. When we are less qualified to protect ourselves, then Krishna will definitely protect us. And the more the danger, the more Krishna's protection. And then one very beautiful statement Prabhupada is making, which is what we have to understand. Sometimes Lord puts his pure devotees in dangers, because in that condition of helplessness, the devotee becomes more attached to the Lord. See, this is the beauty about Krishna consciousness, right? The beauty about Krishna consciousness is that Krishna never let go of his devotee, never leaves his devotee, right? It's only our, ignorance, or because of which we might think that, Krishna is not protecting us, or Krishna is not guiding us, or Krishna is not taking care of us. But once we come to Krishna, Krishna never leaves us. We leave Krishna. And what is the whole idea of bhakti? The whole idea of bhakti is to develop that intense attachment towards Krishna. That is the idea. That is the end goal. So as mercy, the Lord to his pure devotees. Now again, I've told this multiple times. What is our goal in ISKCON? Is to become pure devotees. Right? Pure devotees, and develop love for Krishna. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Pure love for Krishna. This we should remember. Even if anybody wakes us up in the middle of night and asks us, what is the goal of your life? We should say Shuddha Krishna Prema. Right? And it's not easy. It's not easy to achieve Krishna Prema. Why is it not easy? Who wants to try to answer? Why it is not easy to achieve Krishna Prema?
We don't want it.
We don't want it. Okay. First important thing, we don't want it. Then
For achieving Krishna prema, we have to leave all the worldly desires and
Very
all.
good, very good. We have to give up
माया से
material
पीछा
prema.
छुड़ाना है, हमें material चीजों
नहीं,
से प्यार छोड़ना है.
माया से पीछा हम, we are holding on to Maya, so we have to leave Maya.
Yes,
पीछा
yes.
छुड़ाने का मतलब है कि she is behind us. No, she is not behind us. We are behind her. We are
We
behind
have to
Maya.
leave.
So we have to leave.
Maya. Yes.
So we have to leave this material love. When we leave this material love, only then we can develop love for Krishna. Right? So one is we want, like Prabhu said, we don't want Krishna. Because we don't want Krishna, we will not get Krishna. And we have to give up this material love, this love for material world. And when we do that, then what Krishna will do? Then we are desiring, oh, I want Krishna, irrespective of what happens in my life. And this has to be our goal, saying it's not about, oh, let me have a comfortable life, let me have money, let me have this, let me have that. No. This is not Anyabhilashita. These are all Abhilasha, desires. So when we desire this, single pointed, just wanting Krishna prema, then it's not easy. Still, it's not easy, even after we desire, because we have so many of these anarthas which we have to give up, right? So what Krishna does, dadami buddhi yogantam. So Krishna does two things. Maybe it's our karma phala, maybe it's not. We don't have to bother about it, right? But the important point is that Krishna, through all our life situations, right, will help us to get closer to him through all of our life situations. And sometimes, as a special mercy, he puts devotees in greater helplessness. When automatically the devotee becomes dependent on Krishna, attached to Krishna, thinks about Krishna, wants to serve Krishna more. So this is mercy. This is mercy. But we look at our life's difficulties and say, oh, Krishna is not helping me at all. Krishna is absolutely helping us. Only if we stop looking at Maya, will we look at Krishna. When we have material problems, we look at Maya and say, oh, so many material problems. But when we look at Krishna in the same situation, we'll say, oh, Krishna is pulling me towards him. Same material problem, same situation. But Krishna is pulling me towards him. And Krishna puts his devotees in helplessness. That is because sometimes we'll have some little thing which is holding us back. So Krishna pulls us, and after that, there's no need. There's no need to put the devotee again in any kind of situation, because he's already moved beyond his anarthas which were holding him back, etc. So Krishna is always merciful. We have to see Krishna's hands in our lives. Very, very important. Okay. The Prabhupada says, the more the attachment is there for the Lord, the more success is there. So simple. So just we have to become attached. Whatever be the situation, however, we have to just become more and more attached to Krishna. Okay, 24. Actually, when we hear, Prabhupada's statements like this, we should feel so happy, saying, it seems so easy. All we have to do is just develop attachment for Krishna, not even develop detachment from material things. If you develop more attachment to Krishna, automatically detachment will happen. It's such an easy process. Susukham kartum abhyayam. It's so easy. For me, actually, weekends are the happiest, because I get to meet all devotees. Right? And I feel so nice, in the association of devotees, and they're all nicely doing bhakti. And when I look at them, then I feel even more inspired, saying that, okay, I also have to do more. So many devotees have so much attachment to Krishna, and so nicely they serve Krishna. It's not that someone has to sit and give class on Vyasasana, and only then he's an advanced devotee. No. There are so many devotees who just so simply, so sincerely, so nicely serve Krishna. And that's what we require. That is because of their attachment. So it's very nice process. Vishan Mahagne Purusha Darshanad Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichrataha Mrude Neka Maharathas Strato Draunyastratash Tasma Hare Phirakshitah. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. So all these things, Kunti Maharani is saying, it's all because of you. And Kunti Devi was put through difficulty one after another for years and years together. And one problem we get in our life, we'll be like tired, like, oh Krishna, how much trouble. Kunti Maharani, and eventually Kunti Maharani will say, let those troubles happen again and again. Years and years of trouble. Years and years of going through one situation after another. Just imagine, I mean, and she's also single mother without any other support as such. So we should be tolerant. Yesterday I was saying in our Kannada class, saying we have to learn to be tolerant. Whatever situation comes in our life, we should tolerate. Depend on Krishna. Know that Krishna is there. Krishna is seeing. Krishna is in control. Right? And if you tolerate, and then slowly we will make progress. We will give up all this, material modes of passion and ignorance, and we'll come to Sattva Guna. Okay. Vipada santuta shashvad tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunarbhava darshanam. I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So this is for us. This is absolutely an instruction for us. So Prabhupada is writing, for a pious person, if there is some calamity, there is no other alternative than to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord means preparing for liberation from birth and death. Therefore, even though these are so-called calamities, they're so-called, they're actually not really calamities. They are welcome because they give us an opportunity to remember the Lord, which means liberation. So beautiful. Prabhupada is saying so-called calamities. So, which is why, I keep telling devotees, make notes, make notes. And when we go into when we face some difficult situation, just go through the notes. 150 places Prabhupada has said this. That everything, there's nothing like calamity. Everything is to develop our attachment to Krishna. Everything gives us opportunity to remember Krishna. Then suddenly we'll be happy. Oh, anyway, I'm not the body. First, I'm spirit soul. Then I've surrendered to Krishna. Krishna is there in my life. Right? So even if there's this calamity, I'm thinking about Krishna. I'm becoming more attached to Krishna. So nice. So where is the difficulty? Where is the problem? What is the calamity? No calamity. But also, the duty of the sane person is to be undisturbed by worldly calamities, which are sure to happen in all circumstances, Prabhupada is saying. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes. See here, not avoiding. Suffering all sorts of unavoidable misfortunes. Unavoidable. They're unavoidable. One should make progress in spiritual realization. Please note this. One should make progress. It's not that we wait for a very opportune time for making progress in Krishna consciousness. No. That's why I keep pushing devotees. You're in a difficult situation, do more. Do more. I've seen this in my life, and that bhakti comes and helps us, gives us spiritual strength. Calamities are said to be dreams. First of all, here it's saying so-called calamities. So these are actually said to be dreams. And even though they are dreams, we have to tolerate those dreams. What is the problem in tolerating dreams? They're anyway not real. Why they are dreams? As the spirit soul is transcendental to these material calamities. So it's not happening to the soul at all, and we are the soul. It's only happening to the body. And anyway, we are going to change the body. Why are we so attached to this temporary body? A man may see a tiger swallowing him in a dream, and he may cry for this calamity. Actually, there is no tiger and there is no suffering. It is simply a case of dreams. In the same way, all calamities of life are said to be dreams. They're just dreams. So beautiful, Just if you remember this, we will never be discouraged by any difficult situation, by any calamity. See, just remember, I am spirit soul. This calamity is either happening to my body or to my mind, not of this body. This body is anyway temporary. So some trouble happening to a temporary body, ignore. Right? So this is, if you can practice this, and again, for practicing this, we need tolerance. So beautiful. No need to become agitated by difficulties. Janmaishwarya Shutta Shribir Yedhamana Madapuman Naivar Adi Abhidatum Vai Vamakinchana Gocharam Janma Ishwarya Shutta Shribir. And these are the results of Punya. Your Lordship can easily be approached by only those who are Akinchana Gochara, materially exhausted. Easily be approached. One who is on the path of material progress. Okay, for all those who are interested in material progress, please pay attention. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. They can approach you with insincere feeling. Why? Because they come to you for getting your blessings, for getting Janma Aishwarya Sutta Shri. Just Punya. This is Punya Karya. To do Punya, that they come to you, do Punya, take the result. But they can't approach you feelingly. Sincere feeling, with sincere feeling, they can't approach you. But one who is materially exhausted, like tired, enough. I don't want this. I have no interest in this. Materially exhausted. Not frustrated, exhausted. Like frustrated means I want, but I'm not getting it. Exhausted means no, I don't need it. There's nothing in this. There's nothing anyway here. I don't need it. I want Krishna. They will come with a sincere feeling. Again, these are my, foundation, cornerstones for bhakti. Prabhupada says, sincerity, seriousness. So when we come, we have to come with sincere feeling towards Krishna. And wholeheartedly engage in his service. Now, many times I've seen devotees come to temple, they'll just be standing, or they'll be, they'll come, attend class, take prasadam and go. That's it. So no sincere feeling, because if you have sincere feeling to Krishna, you will develop sincere feeling to service devotees. This is sincere feeling. When you have sincere feeling to Krishna, then you'll say, oh, what is this? I should dress myself properly in Vaishnava attire. Why am I wearing this pant and shirt? At home, at least. Why am I wearing this night dress? I mean, I've seen this. Many people have this habit of wearing night pant. Outside, they'll be wearing Vaishnava clothes. But they're in their home, they're wearing night pant. Whatever, track pant, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And we have to give up all this nonsense. In spiritual world, there is no night pant. So will you go there or not go there? For that night pant, comfort of that night pant. I mean, this is not sincerity. Sincerity means what Krishna wants. What Krishna wants, Krishna is saying through Acharyas. Acharya is saying, wear Vaishnava clothes. Okay, let's try. Okay. Office is there, some some kind of environment, formal environment is there in which you have to dress in a particular way, okay. But otherwise, when you are by yourself, why we can't dress the way Krishna wants? See, if we develop sincere feeling, many people have this misconception saying, I'm very sincere, Prabhu, inside, but it's not reflecting outside. So what is this inside outside business? Whatever is there inside has to come outside, has to be visible outside. So sincerity means, okay, Krishna is saying, so beautiful actually, I tell all devotees. When Prabhupada was there, all the devotees who were with Prabhupada, you see, Mataji's, Prabhupada used to teach Mataji's how to wear sari. He could have just told them, no, wear, what is that, chudidar or whatever. It would have been so easy for Prabhupada. Just imagine, Jagat Guru is teaching Mataji's how to wear sari. Why? Why he was trying to do that? Why he wanted to do that? Because he just wants to teach what needs to be followed. And then today in India, it's a big challenge. If you tell people saying that you have to wear sari is only for special occasions. In Krishna consciousness, every day is a special occasion. So this is all we have to change, this conditioning, night pant conditioning, chudidar conditioning. Unfortunate, but we are stuck in this conditioning. But anyway, the point I'm making is, see, when it is sincere feeling means no inhibitions, no self-created, some images, or it's not our way of our definition of life or how we want to live. So I was telling somebody saying that, initiation means giving up freedom. Giving up this freedom to take decisions about in our own way. Initiation means surrendering to the desire of Guru and following his instructions. If you are not sincere, how can we do that? And that sincerity has to be applied in every aspect of our Krishna conscious life. We talk to devotees, we have something in our mind, we only tell 50% of what we want to tell. It won't work. Won't work. So the more sincere we are, we will actually develop that sincerity. Automatically will develop feeling for Krishna, feeling for serving him, feeling for serving his devotees, wanting to follow what he is saying, what Acharya is saying. Automatically it will follow. And these are signs of whether somebody is making progress in bhakti or not. We think that, if you are holding japa bag every day, okay. And of course, it's not that just this external, the internals also, Tranada Pisunichena. This is all sincerity. We have to sincerely give up nonsense. Yes, I have a lot of nonsense. I agree. And, we work on it. So the sincerity is very, very important in all aspects of our bhakti. See, just this one word. So I keep telling, meditate on Prabhupada's statements. Meditate on, what Bhagavatam says. One word, we can get stuck. Just when we think sincere feeling, materially exhausted. When I first read this verse, I said, like, it's amazing. It's just out of the world kind of statement, because the world is completely opposite to this. Insincere feeling, run behind parentage, opulence, higher education, beauty, and materially, no question of exhaustion. Work till you die, accumulate till you die. And I said, so this is so beautiful. Complete antithesis to the material world. Right? And then we understand, okay, this is great. This is wealth. This is, you cannot find this anywhere else but in Bhagavatam. Then we realize the value of something like Bhagavatam. By possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. It's so true, this one. We might not really think about, reflect. We might not really think, no, I'm not really puffed up. I had this experience when I quit my job. It was really suddenly, it was like, that all that Oh, I'm this person, I'm this position in the company, and it was all there. It was, like back of the mind, it was all there, right? That position, this, that, and all that. And when I came out, I realized, oh, beautiful. Now I'm nothing. Now I'm nobody, right? And these things are there. These things are subtly stored in our consciousness. I'm such and such a person. Um, oh yeah, I travel business class. Oh, these people are traveling economy class. Yeah, it's just unwanted contamination, unwanted. Such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly. Oh Govinda, oh Krishna. They can't address him feelingly. Oh Govinda, oh Krishna, can you please give me upgrade of my current car? This is not feeling. Krishna is so much, will say, chalo, le lo. At least by this, maybe you will come. He knows what he should give, by which we will come to him. But these material possessions running behind this, we will never be able to call Krishna, addressing him feelingly. Oh Govinda, oh Krishna. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of the quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in the statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there's a quality to such utterance also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord. So, this is Tranadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnu Nama Ninamanadena. Then, feelingly Kirtaniya Sadahari. So, which is why I keep telling people, come out, draw a end line for Grihastha. When we are in Grihastha, only all this, material possessions, designations, money, this, that, and all that. When you put an end to it, then nothing. You're a zero. When you're zero, you'll feelingly call the Lord. And that's why I keep telling Mataji, saying that you have the opportunity to not wait for Grihastha, end of Grihastha ashrama for this. Shastra allows you to just become this dependent from, by just giving up your so-called, job that you're doing or whatever, and just completely 100% surrender to Krishna, serve your family, serve husband, serve in-laws, serve children, looking at all of them as Krishna's devotees, offer them nice prasadam, feelingly prepare, cook bhoga, offer it to the Lord, offer it to people at home, make them devotees. We don't have to wait for end of Grihastha for that. Prabhus are inevitable. They have a responsibility. They have to go on money. Of course, there are some people, some situations where it's inevitable, right? But that's okay. That we take it as our duty and go on. But those who don't have that compulsion, you can make use of this opportunity from day one. From day one, you don't have to wait. Because then automatically that feeling will go on increasing. Helpless. Oh, like I don't have 10 rupees in my pocket. I have to ask my husband. It's a beautiful situation to be in. And especially if you have a devotee husband. It's a beautiful, helpless situation. And this automatically builds, that feeling will come towards Krishna. This helplessness has to be there in our life. We always want to be victorious. We want to be number one. We want to, stamp over all impediments. We want to continue to be in the rat race, even though we are devotees. No, helplessness is required. Helplessness, I can't do anything myself. And then you will call out. Prabhupada is saying, you'll call out to the names of Krishna, feelingly go Govinda, oh Krishna. So beautiful, completely opposite to what the world wants us to do. The material covering of the pure spirit soul is an external feature, as much as fever is an external feature of the unhealthy body. So beautiful. Fever is an external feature. Material body is an external feature. The general process is to decrease the degree of the fever and not to aggravate it by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign, as much as the falling of temperature is a good sign. When will people become materially impoverished? When they are attached to wealth. Then Krishna takes it away. But if you're not attached to wealth, then anyway Krishna will say, okay, no, he's not attached to it at all. He's using it everything for my service. So you leave it, let him use. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusion about the aim of life. So beautiful. I mean, just see these purport lines, how it can just change the way we look at things, right? It's so powerful. I don't know, at least I feel that way. Maybe I'm just exaggerating. Sometimes I feel that Prabhupada's words are so powerful that sometimes I'm so happy reading those statements and I wonder, oh, maybe not me. Maybe others are not so excited. Maybe I'm just like, overreacting. But dearly, they are so beautiful. I don't know. It just helps us to cut ourselves from all this bondage that we have created for ourselves. Powerful statements, right? So the whole crux here is that we have to feelingly chant Krishna's name. We have to feelingly serve Krishna. And that should be sincere feeling. Sincere feeling means not whimsically. Feeling means bhav, mein aa gaya. I mean like great feeling, Prabhu. But what is that feeling? Is it based on Shastra? That is another important consideration. That is why we have to understand Tattva. We should not become Sajiyas. Sajiyas means taking everything lightly. Bhakti, take it lightly. It's okay, whatever you do. Nowadays we hear this. Kuch bhi chalta hai. Anything you do is okay. And Prabhupada said, kuch bhi nahi chalta hai. Only whatever acharyas have given, only that will take us. So feeling also doesn't mean sometimes, people are like, oh, for example, I mean, this is another important thing I keep observing. Sometimes, not very advanced devotees, they are narrating some Leela. And Leela, normally there is some rasa, right? But unfortunately, because they don't understand the underlying rasa clearly, they end up in expressing a wrong sentiment. They will be saying, why Krishna did like this? And they'll give a reason which is not correct at all. So their understanding of rasa is not correct. So their feeling on which they are feeling towards Krishna is not based on Shastra. It is some mental concoction. So that is why Tattva is very, very important. Rasa is also based on Tattva. Feeling is also based on Tattva. When we have some feeling, we have to corroborate with Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra. Is this correct? Is this okay? What I'm feeling? Right? So these things, that's why read Prabhupada's books. He's made it very, very clear. You can't go wrong. Once we have read Prabhupada's books thoroughly 3-4 times, we can't go wrong. Unless we are crazy, right? Or we want to do some nonsense willingly. But otherwise, we can't go wrong. And today, this is the problem. The devotees don't read Prabhupada's book. They just don't read. And this new fashion of hearing. I keep telling people saying that, read. Actually, I am not saying that we are hearing here. We are reading. I'm reading from Prabhupada's books. Right? But generally, devotees have a lot of the inclination towards hearing. Yeah, you hear, but actually hearing is not the first. We have to hear from Prabhupada, then from others. We have hardly any time left in our life. So busy we are. If we are not sharp enough from whom we have to hear, then we'll be lost. So what is the order for our sadhana? Whatever we do japa, then first is reading Prabhupada's books. First, most important. That is the top priority. So if you read for 1 hour, Maybe you have time, you can hear for half an hour. And whom should you hear? First, you should hear from Prabhupada. After you have heard from Prabhupada, what you should do? You should then get into this process of searching for a guru. In the meantime, don't hear anybody and everybody on the internet on ISKCON devotees. No, not required. Everybody is valuable. Everybody is telling great things, but it's not going to help us in making progress in our current endeavor. So immediately after that, we should hear from certain Maharajas and develop an understanding of their philosophy, of their approach to bhakti, how they want their disciples to do bhakti, and see if there is connection. Once you do this, then eventually, then you will decide who are the other people I should hear, because you will become clear. Okay, you heard, maybe 2-3 Maharajas, and then you're clear. Okay, this I think I'm going to surrender to this Maharaj because I think he's the one who's going to help me pull me out from where I'm stuck and take me towards Krishna. Okay, now so Prabhupada, Maharaj, whoever is you are going to take initiation, Shiksha and Diksha should ideally be from the same Guru. So then that Maharaj, and then third is you will now set a criteria. Okay, if I have more time than this, I have more time, I will hear from those who are completely pure devotees who are giving Krishna Katha as per Acharyas. Now, how will we know this? If you have not read, how will we know somebody is actually speaking what Prabhupada is saying? So we should have read books. Then when we hear, then we'll start reflecting. Yes, I recollect this. So when we find that somebody is helping us to understand Prabhupada's books better, that becomes perfect hearing process. Because the idea of hearing is not to learn new things. The idea of hearing is to internalize what Prabhupada has written in his books. Somebody asked my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, saying that why are you writing books? If you are emphasizing so much about reading Prabhupada's books, he said, they asked, why are you writing books? He said, to help us understand Prabhupada's books better. Meaning what? Prabhupada just talked about Brahmacharya. So I want us to understand what Brahmacharya is. I'm writing a book on Brahmacharya. Prabhupada talked about Varnashrama Dharma. So I want to write about Varnashrama Dharma. Prabhupada has written about Stri Dharma. So I'm writing book Mothers and Masters for people to understand what is Stri Dharma. So he says, I'm just expanding one word Prabhupada has written into a book because there is so much of knowledge that is hidden there that we don't know because of our cultural upbringing. But the focus has to be really on reading Prabhupada's books. Don't distract yourself with hearing, this, and this is also another misconception. I hear from this Prabhu because it's so entertaining. Oh, Baba, what is the use of this entertainment? Where is it going to take you? Is it going to take you to the spiritual world? Or just make you happy for 15 minutes? And then I ask people, wonderful. For how long have you been hearing? 1 year, Prabhu. What is the change in your life? What is the change in your life? And they'll scratch their head. Change in my life? What kind of change? That means you're not really done proper Shravanam. If we do proper Shravanam, there has to be transformation. So please don't just, and the other thing also is from whomever you hear, it's not just their Vani, their life also should align with that. What they practice should be what they preach. And you also have to, as a hearer, you have to be sure that this person's speech actually follows his actions. So, these are generally people are, I remember, when initial days in my bhakti, I used to just love to hear Prabhupada, Kirtan, Prabhupada's videos. I had no mood to go anywhere else. I was just not going anywhere else. I had no desire to hear from anybody, nothing. Whatever, same thing. I took one, Bhakti Vikas Media, they had made one chronological, videos, all videos, beautiful. I have it even today. And I remember multiple years, I used to just see the same, like Prabhupada going, someplace, some giving some morning program, doing some aarti, and just, what he's saying, his conversations, and just soaking, in what Prabhupada's mood. Actually, more than jnana, more than what he was saying, I was trying to soak into the mood. And it is really so valuable today. I mean, it's unimaginable. So Prabhupada has said it all. Prabhupada has said it all, what we require. So first read Prabhupada's books. Of course, Prabhupada also said that you have to then read Acharyas. But for that, first we have to understand what Prabhupada has written. If you have not understood what Prabhupada has written, and then how will we know if somebody is saying something right or wrong? Somebody came some many years back to in our temple and said something against Prabhupada. And it looked like a joke to many people who were laughing. And a couple of us, we couldn't tolerate it. We said, what nonsense is this? How can you say something like this so lightly about Prabhupada? He's a very senior devotee. And we didn't know like whether what we were doing is right or wrong. But eventually we figured that what we said was right. And the devotee had to apologize at some higher levels to, and people are all laughing. When you come into the mood of Prabhupada and, your reverence, your respect for Prabhupada, you won't be able to tolerate nonsense because that's Prabhupada. Prabhupada never tolerated nonsense. So we have to enter into the mood. We have to enter into the mood of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's books are important, right? So why I'm, emphasizing so much, because these books really give you a clear path to go back to Krishna. We cannot go wrong. Really, I'm telling you, we cannot go wrong. I've just been reading these books for, last 10, 12 years. That's all. Right? Just imagine people who have been reading. I mean, even today, Maharaj, all Maharaj, first thing they get up in the morning, hear Prabhupada's Vani. Even today, they will read Prabhupada's books and give purport. Read purport and explain. And I'm very thrilled, like specifically for me, my Guru Maharaj, he doesn't write any quotes of his own. For me, every day there is a group and he sends quotes which are just Prabhupada's quotes. And I know that this is the mood that is there in Maharaj today, mind. So then I read that and then I will take that as internalization of this is the mood I have to develop. And it's so beautiful. He just doesn't write very few things he writes by himself, even though he's an author and he's authored so many books. But he simply sends Prabhupada's quotes saying that stick to this. Stick to this. And that adherence to the words of Prabhupada is very powerful. It's words. It's just those words, selected words. Prabhupada has selected those words. Which means Krishna has selected those words in those translations, in those purports. It's amazing.
So one question I had.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada has written that we should be having a sincere cry like "Oh Govinda, oh Narayana," right? So I have seen in my life that whenever there is a good success or something, yes, I sometimes remember, and most of the times I remember. But when it comes to calamities, so for example, I had a minor accident, and that time I kind of it did not come to my mind that I should cry out for Lord, right? And after some time I remembered, but still I feel that it was missing, that when the actual calamity happened, immediately I did not think of Lord's name immediately, right? So like what is the thing behind that? So we all remember Krishna, try to remember as much as possible, but when it comes to some disaster happens or something like Kunti Marani, like that forgetfulness comes for a moment at least. So
Okay. So this is just because of our false ego, right? So false ego means that we think that it's my strength only, my ability only. When there is a situation, we think my ability, what should I do? That's why that helplessness is very important. So we should feel helpless, right? This material world is is a disastrous place. Padam padam yat vipadam. Every moment anything can happen. So if we are in that helpless mood, then we will not go to anybody else. We will not think about ourselves also. We will not think about my ability. And that is the reason why it's nice to have ongoing calamities. You might think I'm crazy, but I've experienced this. I've experienced this. And that the mood of surrender, the mood of helplessness that you get into, it becomes natural, like a second nature. It becomes like a second nature. We will not think about our ability at all because we know we will fail. It's so beautiful, to continuously fail in life. Because you will understand that it's actually Krishna only. It's only Krishna, it's not me. And when this me goes off in our life, then who else is left? Then it's Krishna.
Yeah.
So we have to give up our false ego, our faith, trust in our own capability, in the bank balance that we have, in the contacts that we have, in the intelligence that we have. Because none of these will really exist if Krishna doesn't want them to exist. And this we will experience, when we are doing preaching, you'll experience it more and more. So, and this mood is important, Prabhu. So this, me, my ability, my capability, when it is helpless, actually, we should feel more. We should call out more caringly, lovingly, saying, Krishna, you're my only resort. You're my only shelter.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
So answer is false ego. Okay. Last verse we'll do for today. That's why I said, these verses are like so beautiful. This first canto is, apart from 10th canto, of course, first canto is also is one of my favorites because beautiful purports. Prabhupada is loaded with, devotional feelings, about Krishna, because why Pandavas are there, right? When Pandavas are there, it is Krishna. It's no other form, no other incarnation, right? And so beautiful purports these are, you should just relish. I'm so happy to be just doing first canto again and again. And beautiful these, and this prayers, then Bhishma Dev's prayers, just out of the world. Namo kinchana vittaya nivritta guna vrittaye atma ramaya santaya kaivalya pataye namaha. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. One more verse. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and the master of the monism. You're the most gentle. When you look at this and say, okay, my master is the most gentle and I am the most crooked, or I'm the most cruel. I'm the most, what is the opposite of gentle? Non-gentle, or brash or harsh. I think something there is wrong. How can I become a servant of such a master? It is also another beautiful realization that, comes saying that a servant has to have qualities like that of a master. And I tell this also to devotees who are looking at initiation. I say, one another way of understanding how disciples of various gurus and where you want to fit. You see, the qualities of disciple should match with the quality of devotees, with the guru. At least partly. For example, see, if you see Prabhupada's qualities, each of his disciples, and especially these initiating spiritual masters, they have taken up some qualities of Prabhupada more than the others. And then you see and say, oh, yeah, I know whose disciple it is. It should be like that. And that mood of the guru should reflect in the mood of disciples. And you look at Krishna and Krishna's qualities and say, oh, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Okay, he's so gentle. I don't have that quality. So let's develop that. Right? And try to be gentle in dealings. Even though we might be saying the absolute truth, it's not that because we want to be gentle, we are just, pleasing people by whatever they want to hear, by telling what they want to hear. No, but we can still be gentle. A devotee renounces the material world not for nothing, but for something tangible in spiritual value. Because we'll get Krishna if you give up this material attachment. Advancement of material vision or material civilization is a great stumbling block for spiritual advancement. Such material advancement entangles the living being in the bondage of a material body, followed by all sorts of material miseries. Material advancement is called anartha, or things not wanted. Look at this. This is Prabhupada's statements. How many people actually really believe this or want to follow this? Material advancement is an anartha, and we are practicing bhakti. Why? Because we want to get out of anartha nivritti. We have to get out of anarthas, right? So anartha nivritti, getting rid of anarthas. And material advancement is an anartha. And that's why it's also the 10th offense. And when we speak about all these, people say, Prabhu, what is this? All desire to live material life only will go off like this. He said, why? Because you are running behind success outcome for personal aggrandizement. That is why it looks like for you like everything is going to become zero or uninteresting. But when you're offering all this to Krishna, what is the problem? So material advancement is not required. Krishna will give. Krishna will give whatever is required for us. We don't have to run behind material advancement. Please remember this statement. Material advancement is an anartha. And we want to get rid of all anarthas, otherwise we can't go to Krishna. So no need to run behind this material advancement. Prabhupada is saying this, I am not saying this. The devotees of the Lord are called akinchanas because they have practically no material assets. No material assets means even if they have, they don't think that it's theirs. Such material assets are all products of the three modes of material nature. They foil spiritual energy. And thus, the less we possess such products, the more we have a good chance for spiritual progress. Oh my God. The unallied devotees of the Lord are transcendently attached to one another. Is another beautiful thing. That devotee should be attached to one another. Now I keep saying, all devotees that I am in association of, I feel so happy when I'm with them. Like, one of my long-term friends, Arnath Prabhu, right? So, he's here on our group, hearing group, and he's so advanced that, but he will just make just simple person. And so but I know his internal, I know his position, where his heart is. So when I meet him, and by Krishna's mercy, we are running this one preaching program in near Vijayanagar every Saturday. And I become so happy actually. Oh, Saturday I will get to meet Arnath Prabhu. Oh, Sunday I will meet all these devotees in Hulimau. Right. So, because we have to develop this attachment to devotees who are also like-minded, who are also serving sincerely Krishna. And doesn't matter whose disciples they are, etc., etc. It is the mood, the sincerity, right? And we should develop that kind of attachment to one another. For others, the Lord has nothing to reciprocate, and therefore He's called Atmarama. So this is also very nice, very important philosophy. Please pay attention here. And the Lord has nothing to reciprocate, and therefore He's called Atmarama. For others, He has nothing to reciprocate. So, Krishna is self-satisfied. But Krishna is not self-satisfied in Vrindavana. Krishna is not self-satisfied with his devotees. So because they say, oh, he's self-satisfied, he's saying, okay, you want to merge into me? Okay, fine. But actually in Vrindavana, he's not self-satisfied. He's in distress. Krishna is in distress because he's not able to meet Radharani. Krishna is in distress looking at his devotees' distress. He's Atma Rama. He's self-satisfied, but he's not self-satisfied. He's self-satisfied for others. For devotees, with devotees, he is not self-satisfied. He's hankering to meet Radharani in Goloka. He's hankering to go take his cows for grazing. He's hankering to meet his friends in the forest. So he is not self-satisfied. This Atmarama is just for non-devotees. He is self-satisfied. This will come later. This philosophy will come later when we go closer to 10th canto. But anyway, because this self-satisfied was there, so I thought I'll mention. Okay, so we are at the end of our time. I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, I can try to answer.